we're talking biotech.
Yeah.
Adam, in an earlier video, you mentioned that Amgen is pipeline challenged. I have many people who say it's got to be a buy somewhere. And we've had lots of people average down, lots of people get hurt. We also have a lot of situations where they'll have a quarter and then it'll go up and then immediately get slammed.
Yeah.
Value trap. Tell me why Amgen is a stock that we should just avoid.
I struggle with it because there's things that I like about the company, and I think that all year we've talked about this value trap. Said it can't go any lower.
Right. Well, I've emailed you every quarter and I said, this is it.
It goes lower, and I've talked to this, and I think that we might have seen the floor in the low 50s, and maybe I'll come out and say I think that was the floor, and I think.
But maybe it's like Pfizer, which we see a floor, but it doesn't matter.
It might be. I mean, you might be right. And maybe that's a reason to avoid it. It's just there's so much uncertainty still. Right. Even we saw some good news at an FDA panel for their EPO drugs just a few weeks ago.
I thought that was going to get it to 60.
Good news. And the stock went up a little bit, but there's this overhang. You've got the Medicare folks in Washington who are basically wanting to cut the reimbursement for these drugs. And there's an effort underway, serious lobbying going on by Amgen and some other outside groups to get Medicare to reconsider that decision.
Now, would it be patients who would demand it because patients love it? Is it possibly grassroots?
It's more like it's more like the ASCO, the cancer people.
Oh, okay.
It's folks like that. It's oncologists, people who use the drugs, who say that Medicare is being too restrictive in their use of these drugs in cancer patients, and we want you to reconsider that decision to basically liberate, make it more liberal.
Okay.
And we're waiting for that decision. We're waiting to see whether Medicare reconsiders their decision and loosens up the guidelines. All right. It's at this point, who knows?
One last question about Amgen. Is there anything secret that secret known to you and a few people that they might have that would make this thing?
It's a great question, and the short answer is I don't know. But one thing to key on, I think in January, I'm not exactly sure the date in January, they're having an R&D day with analysts and investors.
Oh, really?
Okay, and this is where they're
dead money until then.
This is where they're going to they're going to open it up, and we're going to find out what maybe is deeper in their pipeline that might be potentially a really big blockbuster drug. And that's something to key on.
Excellent. Okay, I'm staying away from Amgen. I'm buying some Vertex, maybe in calls. Celgene, any pullback just sounds very right.
I think it's a great stock.
All right,
really
thank you. Thank you. Great rundown on biotech.